It's time to get you ready for the first waiver wire of the year. Let's get it started. Do you have questions at quarterback? Don't worry, I got you. Widely rostered players that you should just check to make sure aren't on your waiver wire. Yes, I know. These guys aren't gonna be on my waiver wire. Why are you giving such obvious players? Dude, I know. Your league is so elite, none of these people will ever be out there. Yada, yada, yada. Everybody doesn't play in your league. Some people have good players on the waiver wire. Don't worry, I'll get to players that definitely are on your waiver wire. But for right now, let me help the rookies. Thank you. If for any reason any of these players are out there, you should probably grab them if you need a quarterback. Anthony Richardson, who finished 4th last week, is 79% rostered. And Jared Goff, who had a meh game against Kansas City, goes against the Seahawks this week, and Matthew Stafford just lit him up. He's basically 60% rostered. All right, now I can get to some players that probably aren't rostered in your leagues. Brock Purdy. My man had 2 passing touchdowns, no interceptions, and he rushed the ball 3 times for 20 yards. Finished 10th. Not bad for a waiver wire ad. Not to mention, homie has some great weapons. He's only 40% rostered. Jordan Love looked good against Chicago, and now he gets Atlanta. He had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 245 yards, finished 3rd last week. Pretty good. And he should be getting back Christian Watson at some point soon, and Romeo Doubs will be healthy. Aaron Jones is dealing with a bit of a hamstring, but assuming he plays, he's got some solid weapons. For a waiver ad, he is 24% rostered. Now let's get to the guys that nobody wanted. For all you deep sleeper people that wanted some players that were less than 10% rostered, I got you. I told you I'd have you. I help everybody around here. On my channel, everybody eats. Now this is a 1-week rental because I don't want to play him after next week's, but Mac Jones plays Miami this week. Did y'all see that Miami game? They're gonna score. Now, the Patriots defense is pretty good, but Mac Jones might have to sling that thing. He was quarterback 2 last week going against the vaunted Philadelphia Eagles. 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 316 yards. Not bad, kid. Also, rostered in 6.5% of leagues. Is that low enough for you? Let's get even more risky. I told y'all you could start him last week. He was alright. He was better in a 6-point touchdown league, but I mean, desperate times cause the desperate measures. Baker Mayfield, 2 touchdowns, 173 yards. He was pretty meh, not gonna lie. 16 points in a 4-point scoring touchdown league. He had 20 in a 6-point touchdown league. He beat out Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. He was quarterback 13 last week. Not bad. Going against the Chicago Bears, they should not be good. Solid grab. Are you weak at wide receiver? Don't worry, I got you. A guy I've been telling you to get for weeks. Now you gotta pay up for him. Puka Nacua. My man had 15 targets, 10 receptions, 119 yards. Not bad. I search for targets. Puka Nacua is a very good grab for the next 3 weeks at least. Now, he's not the best play this week. They play the 49ers. That could get ugly. But the 2 weeks after that, Cincinnati and Indianapolis. And I don't necessarily think that he goes away completely when Cooper Kupp gets back. Sean McVay's a smart coach. He's not just gonna get rid of a talented wide receiver. He's probably gonna use both him and Cooper Kupp. 22 fantasy points, let's go! Next up, Jacoby Myers. He went nuts. 10 targets, 9 receptions, 81 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Now, touchdowns aren't a sticky stat, but I really like 10 targets. But the main problem with him is he's currently in concussion protocol, so you may miss him this week. But in general, as a long-term play, I think he's going to be viable. Another guy I've been telling y'all to pick up for weeks, Nico Collins. Now, he didn't have a crazy performance, but let me teach y'all something. When you're looking for wide receivers, you want targets. Touchdowns are not a sticky stat, meaning you can't rely on them. Targets are something you want to look for. Now, there's a lot of other factors that I look at, but for new people, don't just look at, oh, he had 2 touchdowns, that's great. He's not having 2 touchdowns next week. But the targets are more likely to happen week over week, not touchdowns. Nico Collins, y'all may not even know him. Wide receiver for the Houston Texans. Big fan. 11 targets, 6 receptions for 80 yards. My favorite thing about him is something that can't be taught. He's 6'4", 215. He's a big boy. That's what you want for a rookie quarterback. Throw it to the big guy. Romeo Doubs. This is one of those heavy touchdown games. 5 targets, 4 receptions, 26 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm not chasing the touchdowns, but he did come into this week banged up. And I think that he is a viable ad. Christian Watson coming back. Some of those touchdowns are probably going to go to him. But I do think that Jordan Love proved that he's going to be slinging the ball a little bit. I think Romeo Doubs could have some action. I don't love it, but I do like it. And like I said before, big leagues, small leagues. On this channel, everybody eats. Let's get you some sleepers. Tutu Atwell, 5% rostered. 30% rostered, Zay Jones. Right now he's in on 2 wide receiver sets. Go figure. Kendrick Bourne, 11 targets, 6 receptions, 64 yards, and 2 touchdowns aren't going to happen every week, but I do think he gets some targets in this next game against Miami. After that, though, not a fan. Jets and Dallas, this is more of a spot start. Allen Robinson II. I know some of y'all have some history with him, but with Deontay Johnson going down, he's probably going to get some work. 8 targets, 5 receptions for 64 yards. I think that he's going to be a useful asset, and he's only 2.4% rostered, so if you're desperate, he's an okay grab. Rashid Shaheed, 6 targets, 5 receptions, 89 yards, and a touchdown. Also got involved in the rushing game, not bad. Finished as wide receiver 12. I don't expect that every week. Are you having a rough time at running back? Don't worry, I got you. 3 players to check to see if they're out there. I know they're rostered in your league, but some people may have these players out on their waiver wire. Don't worry, I got some sleepers for you later. Tyler Algier, 50% rostered. He had 15 carries, 75 yards, had 3 targets, had 3 receptions, and 2 touchdowns. Again, don't expect the touchdowns, but I do like that he was involved. This is a team that wants to run. Kenneth Gainwell's a little banged up, but it does look like he currently has the lead running back role on the Eagles, so I think that he's an okay grab. Backfield's kind of messy, though. Mostert, he only had 10 carries for 37 yards. He did get in the end zone, and he did have 2 targets. He's rostered in 80% of the leagues. Now that we've talked about the obvious people, let's check out people that are probably on your waiver wire. Kyron Williams was very involved before the Rams started pulling away. 15 carries for 52 yards. I also liked that he had 2 targets. Now he had 2 touchdowns, which aren't a sticky stat, but you're not going to find a lot of guys that are going to fight for a starting role. I think that he's worth the grab and stash. He plays the 49ers this week. I'm not really trying to play that, but I do think long term, there's a chance he takes over Cam Akers. Not saying it's going to happen, but there's a shot. Team likes him. Joshua Kelly rushed for 16 times for 91 yards and a touchdown. Austin Eckler's banged up at the moment. If he ever misses time, Joshua Kelly could be that dude. Now, he needs an injury to be really relevant, but this team was using him pretty much the whole game, so he could be involved regardless. Austin Eckler doesn't want to be Derrick Henry, having all the carries. Austin Eckler wants somebody to split the role with him, and they could never find that guy. If Joshua Kelly steps up, whether Austin Eckler's healthy or not, he may have a little bit of a role. I also want to mention Zach Moss. With Evan Hall getting injured and Deion Jackson fumbling the ball multiple times, Zach Moss could be a solid grab if he plays. He's coming off of an injury. Obviously not a long-term play. Jonathan Taylor's going to come back and he's going to be completely irrelevant. But Jonathan Taylor can't come back till week 5, so we'll see. Not a big fan, though. Now, this is where it starts getting interesting. With J.K. Dobbins going down, there's an opening for a starting running back, but who's it going to be? Is it Justice Hill, who scored 2 touchdowns but only had 9 rushing yards? Is it Gus Edwards, who's been a solid backup running back for J.K. Dobbins for years? Or is it Melvin Gordon, who John Harbaugh was talking about earlier today? Honestly, I don't know. I think they're going to split work. If I had to pick one, I'd pick Justice Hill, but I'm really not trying to invest a lot. It's more of a flyer at the end of your bench. Any one of them could hit, but you're playing roulette. I really don't know. I would also like to mention Roschon Johnson. He only had 5 carries, but he did have 7 targets. 6 receptions, 35 yards, and a touchdown. This kid's a rookie, and I think there's a chance that he could increase his role over time. I definitely think he's worth a look. This is more of a long-term play, not like a grab him, start him kind of thing. And a guy I'm just kind of keeping my eye on, Sean Tucker. This might be a homer pick, but he's a running back for the Bucks. I'm curious to see how they get him involved. I've heard a lot of good things about his talent. I'm curious to see if he gets involved more over time. And I'm curious when some veterans start getting signed from all these injuries. Kareem Hunt and Leonard Fournette are still available. Which one do you think gets signed first? My guess is Kareem Hunt. Playoff Lenny did burn hot, though, when he was on my team. Woo! Let's go! Are you having a tough time with tight ends? Don't worry, I got you. This is a 1-week rental, but Hunter Henry, 6 targets, 5 receptions, 56 yards, and a touchdown. Number 1 tight end of the week. It's a pretty low bar, but he was there. He gets to check that off his list. They go against Miami, and like I said earlier, Patriots are going to have to throw the ball. I think that he's good for this week. I don't really like him after that, though. Jets, Dallas, New Orleans, those are 3 tough defenses. I'm really not trying to play him after that, but if you need a 1-week stopgap, I think it's a solid grab. Tight end number 2 on the week, Hayden Hurst, 7 targets, 5 receptions, 41 yards, and a touchdown. I like the 7 targets, and he's a tight end with the rookie quarterback. Rookie quarterbacks like big targets. He should be pretty solid. New Orleans isn't a great matchup, but I think that long-term, Seattle, Minnesota, Detroit, Miami, I think those are good matchups. New Orleans, not the best, but I think he's a good long-term play. Luke Musgrave is also a solid grab. I know he only had 4 targets, 3 receptions, but he had 50 yards. And he could have actually made this even bigger if he wouldn't have fallen on one of his receptions. It's a little deeper, but I like him. Only rostered in like 14% of leagues. And Sam Laporta, I like him. Now, I normally don't like rookie tight ends, but he went 5 for 5 for 39 yards. I think that he has a shot of being involved in this Detroit Lions offense, and with TJ Hawkinson gone, he could be the new guy. They need big bodies to throw to. I think he could be involved. Plus, I like that schedule. Seattle, Atlanta, Green Bay, Carolina. Let's go. Are you desperate for a defense? Don't worry, I got you. I know that this team is probably rostered, but I have to tell you anyways. Denver's going up against Washington. They're going to be a good grab. Just check to see if they're out there. I'll give you more sleepers, but you should still look. Everybody's not in such an elite fantasy football league as you are. Don't worry, I'll give you some sleepers, but let the rookies eat. Denver's going to be good, guys. If they're on your waiver wire, grab them. A defense I told you to grab last week because I love their schedule, the New Orleans Saints. All right, they had 10 fantasy points last week, only allowed 15 points, 3 sacks, 3 interceptions, and they go up against a rookie. I'll take that all day. Give me New Orleans. They should have already been on your roster. I told you to pick them up. Shout out to my boy Big Oz for the suggestion. This defense gonna be good for a minute. Good job, Commish. All right, guys, this one's gross because they played so bad last week. But it's all about matchups for defenses. And the New York Giants play some trash. They play the Arizona Cardinals. I know they were bad last week, but they play the Cardinals, who are obviously tanking. The Giants need a win desperately. They're all y'all talking. Even Kadarius Toney for some reason. Tony, you need to shut your butt up. Don't nobody need to hear you, your pass dropping self. You should be ashamed of yourself talking noise. Anyways, they hear everything. Arizona about to have a problem. This defense is coming to play. And give me my Bucks against Chicago. Justin Fields may run pretty well. His passing has just not been there yet. We had 9 points against Minnesota, who should have a much better offense. I think the Bucks are going to be a solid spot start. Whatever, call me a homer. So what? Who cares? I think they play solid against Chicago. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell down below. If you have any questions, hit me up. Good luck on the wire this week. Peace.